Hello, my name is Virgil and this is Literally Books. Today I want to talk about George R. Martin's science fiction short story from 1979, The Way of Cross and Dragon. Winner of the Hugo and Locus Award for Best Short Story. Now I read this a very long time ago, and just remembered that it was a really good story. I didn't remember who the writer was, and I didn't remember that it had won any awards or anything like that. So when I was doing some research on this, actually it's been quite a while now that I kind of discovered this, that it was Martin. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. It's part of a larger series that he's written. There's a novel in this series and some other short works in this sort of science fiction world that he sets up. That is not required reading, right? You can read this story as itself in its own thing. I mean, I haven't read any of those other stories, and so I'm really excited now, having just reread this, to go and take a look at that story. The story follows Damien, a Knight Inquisitor in the Catholic Church in the distant future. He roots out heresies that are discovered on various planets, right, in different colonies, heresies within the own church. And he is kind of wore out from all the work that he's been doing. It's exhausting work, and he's kind of hoping for a little downtime, but he's not getting it because he's good at his job. And he's meeting with the Archbishop, who is, strangely enough, not human. And this Archbishop is like in this immersed pool, which is uncomfortable for Damien to be in this space, and gives him his job, saying that there's a heresy on this planet where they are preaching the gospel of Judas, and that Damien needs to go and take care of this problem. On the flight to this planet, Damien reads the principal text of this heresy, The Way of Cross and Dragon, that tells an alternate sort of fable about the story of Judas and how that story relates to Christ. It's absolutely amazing. Judas in this alternate version is a sorcerer who actually like encounters Christ and like cuts his legs off and sort of tortures him, but then in some sort of an epiphanal moment realizes that Christ is true and real, and then ends up carrying Christ around on his back for a long period of time. Another thing that Judas also does is he can control, and he like tames dragons. Judas is away prophetizing when Christ is captured and crucified. And when he comes back, he hears about Peter denying Christ, and that Peter is now in charge of the church, and he sort of sends his dragons out to ravage the earth, essentially. And then 3 days when Christ returns to life, he rebukes Judas for denying all the teachings that he had, and punishes Judas with long life, and he becomes the wandering Jew, until later on he is sort of brought back into the fold and brought back into the kingdom of God. When Damien does finally go to the planet and confront Lucian, the sort of founder or the leading figure of this religion, this heresy, the conversation just is so good. I mean, I can't stress enough how intelligent the writing is here, and the story just so perceptive. I can't stress enough. Let's see. So let's try one more time. So when Damien finally gets to the planet and he confronts Lycian, the founder of this heresy, they have a conversation that I really thought was absolutely brilliant. Like, amazing writing. So good. And the story, of course, I don't want to spoil that conversation, because that's the real reason to show up, is that conversation they have, which is so good. Not just was it really great writing, right? So that's of its own accord, that's amazing. And the writing is really fantastic. But also, it's an argument, or like, it's like I sort of could see where it was going. I thought, okay, it didn't do a whole lot. Like, this is a good, well-written story, but the idea isn't doing very much to me or for me, right? At first. And as I kept reading, and as the conversation continued, it became so good that I even found myself falling into the same trap that Damien was falling into. I really, really loved it. It really, like, existentially, I guess you could say, like, works on you. Just, I mean, there's a reason it won a Hugo. It deserved it. I don't know if these stories are collected. I haven't looked at any of that stuff yet, right? I literally just finished the story and like turned this camera on. It was so great. It's just go find the story. I mean, just find a way to read it. The Way of Crossing Dragons, so good. I'm extremely eager to read all the other things that are associated with this. I've read it through an Audible collection of George R. R. Martin's short fiction. I'll put a link to that. It'll be a paid link, but I mean, you know, take it or leave it. I know there's a novel as well, and I don't remember the title. Let me see if I can give you the title. Of course, you got to watch me scroll on my computer, and I know that's really exciting. So there's a novel, I believe, called Dying of the Light, which is in this same world, which I think is published before this. And then there's a few other stories, Sand Kings, Night Flyers, A Song for Laya, and these are collected in a series. Some of the stories of these are collected in a series called Tough Voyaging, and Tough is T-U-F. I haven't read Martin in a long time. I kind of am not super enamored with his fantasy. I know a lot of people love him for his fantasy. I'm not denying that he's a great writer. I mean, I'm saying it right now. But I just found that the Song of Fire and Ice was, maybe the pacing was not quite to my taste, and that I don't know. It just didn't capture me. Was that seem weird? I mean, as somebody who likes fantasy a lot and is saying that, like, we're the most popular fantasy series probably currently being read, right? Currently still in the process. Of course, that's a landmine right there. That I'm not super huge fan of it. I don't know. I mean, nothing against it. I think the writing's great. I didn't love the pacing, but this is so great. I just want to read all these things in this. I don't even know if the other ones are as good as this at all, right? But this is just fantastic. So really eager to go back and read this. Go check out Martin's early sci-fi. It's totally worth your time. Thank you very much for watching. A like and subscribe are greatly appreciated. There'll be some links down below for, at least for that audiobook, and if I can find some kind of a physical book, then I'll try to put a link in there too. There's a support link there too if you get really, really out of control. That's all I've got. Looking forward to reading more of this. I don't know how fast I'll do it, but some of those other short stories are in the same collection and don't look to be too much longer. So probably you might see some more of me talking about the same stuff. Appreciate it. That's it. I think I already said that. Read. Bye. That was a weird pause. Read. And then I'm like, wait, I got to say another word. What is the word? Bye. Bye. Bye.